In October 2023, Poland held parliamentary elections, which saw a change in the political landscape. The new government plans on implementing changes in the Polish judicial system, and I am now joined by an expert to help us walk us through this matter, Sylwia Gregorczyk-Abram, attorney at law, as well as Free Courts Foundation co-founder. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello and thank you for having me.
So now, do tell our viewers why and what kind of legal changes does the government want to implement in the Polish judicial system?
The changes are crucial and they have to be done fast because the citizens expect that. They expect that they will have back the independence of judiciary, because this is all about the independence of judiciary and the guarantee that when the citizen go to the court, they have the independent judge sitting in the panel and decide about the crucial matters in their lives. So what is to do in the next few months or years? First of all, the Constitutional Tribunal, which is now unfortunately totally politicized body, full of people that really, three of them are illegally appointed. They shouldn't be appointed to the tribunal, but they were by the parliament. And for that, we have the confirmation of the court in Strasbourg, European Court of Human Rights, that those three people are so-called double judges. They're not legally appointed, and they should be removed from the Constitutional Tribunal. And the tribunal itself has proved that it helps the Law and Justice Party to with the political agenda of its body, and supports every move and every legal decision in the past and even now.
So now I wanted to ask, how important are independent courts in a civil society?
Well, they're absolutely crucial because everyone can end up in a court and have the court case. And once you're there and you expect that this person is not dependent on any politician, it's not dependent on any political agenda, and will be fair, justice and fair in your case. And if you don't have this assurance that this person is independent, you can't be safe in the justice system. You can't say that your guarantees given by the Constitution, by the European Convention of Human Rights are met.
Mm-hmm. So now let's go back for a second now to this constitutional tribunal that you mentioned. Now that tribunal is set to consider the request of a group of members of the Polish Sejm regarding the preliminary request for holding the president of the National Bank of Poland accountable before the state tribunal. So you mentioned now that there are some judges who shouldn't be there.
Yes.
What kind of impact would this have on this matter?
The crucial impact, because we have already a judgment of the court in Strasbourg, but also Supreme Court, saying that if this person illegally appointed is in the panel, the judgment itself shouldn't be valid. It's not binding. So any judgment, any decision given in a panel in which such person is sitting will not be binding for the government or for anyone actually in society or any person. This is how it works. As I said, this is confirmed by the Polish courts and court in Strasbourg.
So now in this case, I mean, what happens next? How to bring about change if we have a situation like you described?
Well, now in the parliament, we have actually public hearing, I believe next week or sometimes very soon, about the Constitutional Tribunal and reforms, because there is already act in the parliament that introduced the changes into Constitutional Tribunal, and of course it says that those three people illegally appointed should be removed from the tribunal, but it also introduced general changes to the tribunal so it can actually perform as a guardian of the civil rights for the citizens, not the ally of the government.
So now, what would these changes mean for the Polish judicial system?
Let me start with a small amendment. Those changes will be discussed by the parliament, but at the end of this process, we obviously have the President Duda, who I believe he will not sign this act on the Constitutional Tribunal, because he already suggested that he will send everything either to the tribunal or will not sign any act regarding the judicial reform. So we may wait for these real changes a year and so, right, to the next presidential elections.
And that was about to bring me to my next question, because some of our viewers, they are not based in Poland. So you said, if I understand correctly, the president might veto, right?
Yes,
this
he
act.
might veto.
And then what happens next?
Well, so we don't have the majority in the parliament to reject the veto of the president, right? So if he vetoes, then the act is not into force. So this is a strong tool, and the president is using this tool quite often recently. So I presume that also he will use this tool once the act on the Constitutional Tribunal will be presented to him.
So now, what about what kind of changes have to be made in the Polish judicial system in order to adapt it to EU requirements?
First of all, National Judicial Council. The National Judicial Council is the body that chooses and promotes judges into the system. So if anyone wants to be a judge, it has to go through the National Judicial Council, and those people decides whether this person can be a judge, whether it can be promoted to the second instance of the court. So very crucial body, essential for every justice system. And this body was hijacked totally by the politicians, meaning that according to the constitutions, 15 members of the National Judicial Council should be appointed by judges. But the Law and Justice Party has changed the law in a way that they're appointed by politicians. So they're not independent. And for that, we have several judgments of the ECJ, the court in Luxembourg, the court for the European Union, and the European Court of Human Rights. So those both courts, and also Polish courts, they already said that this body does not meet the requirements of the either EU law, the European Convention of Human Rights, and the Polish Constitution, and should be changed, and those 15 people should be removed from this body because they are illegal, and they appoint to the system illegally appointed judges. So any judge appointed by the National Judicial Council now has kind of, it's illegally appointed, and again, once the citizen is coming to the court, it doesn't know whether this person is legally appointed because it was appointed by the National Judicial Council.
So I still wanted to ask a bit more on that, because that was my next question. What kind of effect does that have on the citizens?
This is a huge effect on the citizens, because now we have this really real problem with so-called neo-judges. So for the viewers, we call the National Judicial Council that is illegally appointed the neo National Judicial Council, and those people, we believe they're illegally appointed, and we have the confirmation of the courts, both courts, European tribunals and the Polish courts. So what is happening in the real cases? So let's imagine we have like court case together regarding, I don't know, some property we are fighting about, right? And I won this case, and you do know that this person was legally appointed by the National Judicial Council. What do? You question, obviously, this judgment, saying, well, this is not the judge, this is person legally appointed. I'm going to question that, and this is exactly what is happening in the Polish courts. So if the citizens are coming there and see that this judge was appointed by this National Judicial Council, they say, well, I'm not certain whether this judgment will be valid, will be into force, and I'm going to question that, and I'm going to do anything that's possible in the very beginning to exclude this judge from the panel, and that is a huge chaos for the system.
What about when it comes to Polish judges? I heard that this, of course, half jokingly, that a lot of them have problems with their spine because they have to carry so many papers and loads of papers. Yeah. Is there anything that should be done to address this matter?
And thank you very much for this question, because this is important that we talk not only about how to reverse the destruction of the justice system, but how to improve the justice system so it will be modern, digitalized, and friendly for the citizen. This is what it's really about. The citizens, they deserve the modern justice system. They don't have it now, so those changes should go all together. Reversing the destruction and the real changes. And there are several acts already in the parliament or offered by the judges themselves to improve this, to make the courts more friendly, more open to the citizens, and to shorten the length of the proceedings, because this is the real problem.
And can you also tell us a little bit about this problem of the length of the proceedings? It's also something that I heard about in Poland.
Well, this is a problem everywhere. I would say that this is a European problem, and now it's even worse because of those judges legally appointed in the system. So it is now because of them that the proceedings are even taking more time than in the past. But this needs to be reformed, and some parts of the short, simple cases can be done by the civil clerks, like notary and so on. Those are also the changes that are discussed, that we will remove some part of the cases from the judges to notaries themselves, so they can help the justice system. And of course, the digitalization, that would really help a lot to improve this.
And my last question I wanted to ask, what about if there are any high school students watching us and they would like to become an attorney at law or maybe a judge? What kind of advice would you have for them? Is there something specific they should focus on while still at school before applying to law school?
I would say, firstly, do it. This is the best thing you could do. I love my job, so I would strongly encourage you. Well, be interested not only in the law, but also in what's happening in your country, in politics, in any social events, because that will give you this assurance whether you want to change the world or not. If you see something that is bothering you, like in a society, in a politics, you as a lawyer can change that. You have the tools to change that, right? So if you have this drive inside you, please continue please continue just to do it. And I don't know whether I have any practical advice. I would definitely find like a role model, either men or women. Try to meet with this person, talk about the future. I do it quite often. Young people are, writing to me and asking me whether I can talk with them because they're thinking about being a lawyer. And responsible lawyer, responsible person should find time for that, even like 10 minutes, even on Instagram or Zoom, to help this young person decide, because this is about the future.
All right. Well, it is exactly about the future. Thank you so much for joining us here on TVP World. Our guest was Sylwia Gregorczyk-Abram, attorney at law and co-founder of the Free Courts Foundation.